Breathing in, breathing out. Let's reach to the right. Take a little scooch right and just a simple twist with both knees left. Melt the right shoulder down, maybe look right. And let your knees, your feet travel maybe a little further left. Stay for one more inhale, one more exhale. Maybe opening your mouth as you do. Take the arms wide, ease your knees back to neutral. Couple of rocks and sways as we set up for side 2. Scooching hips a little bit left when you're ready, reaching left, ease the knees right. Balancing out the body, roughly 5 or 6 breaths. Staying a little longer when needed. Backing off with props, any extra support when needed. Take at least another exhale or 2. Maybe emptying a little bit more completely. And the arms can travel wide. Use the next inhale or 2 to climb on back to center. And again, rock, sway, maybe start to circle from there. Good time to sigh it out, flutter it out. Horse breath or 2 here. Let the knees fall wide. Elbows to the insides, hands to the outsides. Happy baby. And just take it so your hands are closer to your upper ankle or lower shin. Even if you can easily reach your feet, choosing not to. Hike the feet back so the heels are living over your knees. Melt the shoulders down, maybe a little tuck of the chin so it's moving slightly forward in space. And then circle your ankles and feet 2-3 times one way, 2-3 times the other. Following the circles, do point and flex. Once, twice, 3 times, drawing all 10 toes back and down. And then start to rock the hips right to left. Let your head follow, moving it the opposite way as your hips are going. Maybe you weave in an ecstatic baby as well, lengthening through one leg, then the other. Looking the opposite way as the leg that is lengthening. Maybe reaching a little bit more through the heel, the ball of that foot, spreading the toes. Getting into the muscles more, not so much the tendons or ligaments in these vulnerable regions. And maybe both legs straighten, hands to the insides or outsides. That reminder, you get a little more support, really a lot more support. Even in the shoulders and neck, if you take the hands to the outsides of the legs, finding what works. Maybe add another circle or 2 of the feet and ankles, a pointing and flexing option as well. And perhaps you just want to be here stretching, breathing in, breathing out. Maybe you want to add a little strengthening, hands at your heart or behind your head and neck. We're going to roll it up on the next exhale and gently roll it down with your inhale. Again, exhale it up. Inhale it down. This time exhale it up and stay. Reaching, extending if you'd like through the thumbs, first fingers, Kali Mudra. Or again, support your head with your hands. Soft face, soft jaw, one more inhale. Exhale to roll it down slow. Hands come to the outsides of the legs. Knees moving toward your belly or chest. Do bring in a slight separation between your knees and feet. Turn your toes up, glide your shoulders down, and simply pump the legs in and away from you a few times. Filling yourself up as the thighs move away. Emptying everything out as they move towards you. And do you notice tendencies with the ankles, knees, hips to want to turn in or out? Can you really keep that neutral alignment? And then consider grabbing one of your blocks, placing it between your inner upper thighs. You don't have to, just an option. Going to take your heels up to the sky. Hands come down to the ground or maybe back like a cactus shape to make it slightly harder at any time. With the exhale, we're lowering our heels anywhere between halfway, 3/4 plus of the way. Point feet, inhale, do lift your legs slow. Exhaling, take them down again halfway or a little further, maybe a lot further. Point feet, inhale, lift. Keep going with that, just 5 or 6 in total. Really quality over quantity when it comes to our abdominal work, our core work. Maybe a last rep for now. I did say for now, there'll be another one coming momentarily. You can remove the block or keep it there for bridges. Knees living over your ankles when we lift the hips. Little adjustments so that we're not cranking at the low back. We're not putting lots of weight in the knees. Maybe dig your triceps down, fingers reaching up, robot style. Exhale completely first. Inhale if you've yet to, lift the pelvis slowly. Keeping everything neutral, exhale, lower top to bottom. Root to rise, inhaling, lift it up, toes tracking forward. Crown of the head reaching back, exhaling lower. Take a few on your own, inhaling it up, exhaling it down. You can get into sweeping the arms if you'd like. You don't have to. Maybe you take something easier like palms rooted, shoulder blades grounded. Feeling that we're not cranking the low back or the neck here. Last inhale, lifting. And exhale, lowering. Heels up, hips release down. So you're not lifting your booty off the floor for these. Slow moving yoga leg lifts, maybe with that block between the thighs. Arms reaching forward or further back. Do lower with the feet flexed on your exhale. Point and lift with your inhale. Keep moving through that. Roughly 3 more, depending on when you started. And maybe more importantly, depending on how your lower back is responding. This is a hard sequence in that region, generally in a way that is safe and challenging, but again, hard. Feet coming down, tracking knees, toes forward as you do. Little adjustments now or as you move, getting more information. Taking that exhale first, you'll eventually inhale to float the hips, the heart, maybe the arms. Exhaling vertebra by vertebra, take it down slow. Building strength in the core, the pelvic floor. There's a sense of lifting from the base of your torso. Waking up those muscles that do support you, that wrap around the entire waist, and again from the top to really the bottom of the torso. And then bring a little more awareness into the knees, the inner thighs, of course all connected to the pelvic floor and core. Pressing with the inner thighs, this time lifting and maybe holding for an extra breath or two. If you're feeling really good in the lower back, creating more space could happen by lifting the heels, scoop the tail, and then take it really slow top to bottom if you have it. Ditch your block. Draw the knees in, take maybe a big sigh of relief, letting it out. Then you can turn to one side once your knees are at your chest, or rock and roll with me a few times, challenging your core a little more. Maybe taking both from these rock and rolls or just from a sitting pose, seated pose. Last breath or two, rocking through it or holding steady. Modified or maybe that full expression, straightening knees, arms, adding sails. And then you're taking it to all fours. Cat-cows when you're ready for them. Fingers are bright, feet are grounded. Inhaling to arch, exhaling to round. Several of these basic cat-cows first. And then we will mix it up quite a bit. Emphasizing really stretching out the belly, the area we often think of as the core, the front of the body. And it is a much larger area in many ways than that. There are postures that isolate one spot maybe a little more than the other, at least where you feel like they do. Spinal rolls, taking the body around, again, still stretching the belly and then the mid, low back region. The entire core of you being confronted and released. Noting that that really begins with the breath, with the quality of your inhale, your exhale, and that connection to the diaphragm, the lungs. Let's come out of the spinal rolls, high onto fingertips for a breath. And as you exhale, do gently hug the navel in, feeling that natural connection from front to back. Spinning the hands one by one so your fingers are facing your knees. Or maybe that modification, kind of the back corners of your mat. If you're not sure, exploring the modification maybe first, then progressing it. Sliding fingers back, feeling the forearms gently moving forward without locking elbows. You can get right into arching and rounding, cat-cowing if you will. You can also get right into something like spinal rolls if you want more. If it's just too much, come back to the heels sooner than later. Circle out the hands and wrists. We'll be doing that as a collective momentarily. Shaking, stretching those hands, forearms, however you need to do. If you're still cat-cowing with me, take a last breath, two, finishing that up. Maybe open the mouth or flutter the lips, let it out. Spin the hands back around, sit to your heels. And you consider shaking them several times, maybe moving the arms up toward the sky. And then you can shake or circle them back down toward the earth. If you're not sure, a combination of the two is often good. Bring your hands to your knees or lower thighs. Inhale to shrug the shoulders. Exhale, release them back and down. Feel yourself growing a little bit taller each time. From here, 2 to 3 just like that, or maybe reverse direction. Do one shoulder at a time either way. Any combo of these different options is welcomed. Changing it up if you kind of always do the same thing, letting your practice be playful in that way, being curious in a way that is, again, safe, but at times also challenging. You're going to walk your right fingertips back, lifting and reaching with that left arm. Take an inhale. And then with your exhale, just lower everything back down toward the ground. Walk your left fingertips back several inches plus, inhaling. And we lower everything, exhaling. Now from neutral, take both arms forward and up. Circling the arms, reaching back and down. You might be 5, 6, 7 inches behind the toes or so. Inhale, hips, heart lift. Exhale, we lower. Let's do all of that again. Walking the right hand back, inhale. And gradually exhale. Walking your left hand back, inhale. And exhale. Taking both arms forward and up. Both hands, fingertips back and down. Roll the inner shoulder blades toward the heart. Lift the hips, maybe drop the head. This exhale, the next, take it down slow. Walk your hands forward. Give yourself a breath or two, recreating that tabletop shape. Maybe sighing, integrating from front to back, the core of the body, even in something as simple as table. And then again, you'll curl the toes. You'll lift your hips, and with the exhale, connecting through the core, find your down dog. Any calf stretching, neck stretching. Get creative if you want an early leg lift, an early dolphin. And this combination of practicing in a way that is safe, mindful, but also motivates you to come back to your mat again and again. So you're staying interested in what's happening. Bringing your awareness into what's happening in the hands for a moment, brighten the fingers. Maybe wrap the triceps back, biceps forward, let your head hang, or even shake a little bit more freely. And a little more mindfulness into the knees is often needed, springiness in the hinge joints. Firming the legs without jamming at the actual knee. Toes reaching forward, inner thighs, heels reaching back. Now just walk your hands to your toes. Slide your hands onto your shins. And like in our cat-cows, let's link breath, movement, inhaling to gently arch. And exhaling, it's subtle, but we do obviously round. Inhale, going for length more than anything else. Keeping that length, hinge at the hips, and fold. 2, 3 or so on your own, connecting breath and movement consciously. What do you need to release and let go of here? Let this specific flow, this specific combo of forward folds help. Finding that waterfall feeling, dropping the head on this one, lifting your shoulders as you do. Maybe let that springiness come back to the knees if they got rigid. That brightness returns to the toes. All 4 corners of your feet grounding you. And then from that grounding action, we lift to the arches, the ankles, and the quads. Maybe even imagine your sit bones reaching a little more toward the sky, toward the ceiling. Last exhale. And then slide hands on hips, pull the elbows toward each other. Inhale, let's lift halfway. Pause with your exhale. Root and rise, inhale, come all the way up. And a big exhale here. Take a few more of those shoulder rolls we did kneeling. Helping tension, stress to roll off your back. Choosing to put down what is really not ours to carry as much as you can. It is a gradual process, a practice. It doesn't all happen in a breath or even in an hour. But doing what we can with the time we have on the mat and bringing that awareness with us as much as possible when we step back out into the world. Maybe rock and sway. Feel those 4 corners through your feet. Physically reconnecting so you can find a little more stability, a little more support. Not only from the ground up, but also from the inside out, the core of you. Take a couple more breaths, noticing that natural connection and building on it. Inhale to expand all 4 sides of the rib cage, your lungs. Exhaling, drawing the front body in and also gently up. Shoulders may need the reminder to loop back, the heart pulls forward. Crown of your head lifts, the tailbone lengthens. Feeling that long line of energy from top to bottom, bottom to top. Big breath in. Maybe flutter it out. One more breath, just observing.